School meal service style. Guidelines on general health for school nutrition programs. Employees shall only handle food when healthy. People who are coughing, feverish, short of breath, vomiting, have diarrhea, or other symptoms of illness should not report to work. Employers shall check employees' health before each shift by asking if they have any symptoms such as cough or fever. Employers may check staff temperatures. Employees with a temperature greater than 100.4 shall stay home until they have no fever for 3 days without the use of fever-reducing medications. Employees should inform their supervisor if they have a sick family member at home or have come into contact with someone with a COVID-19 diagnosis. Employers shall contact their local health department for guidance and report any possible exposures or cases to them immediately. Guidelines for personal hygiene for employees. Employees shall wash hands frequently with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds, and that's about as long as it takes to sing happy birthday twice. Dry hands with a clean, single-use paper towel. Throw a used paper towel into a lined trash can. In addition to usual hand washing, employees shall make sure to wash hands before and after preparing or eating meals or snacks, after blowing noses, coughing, sneezing, or after contact with body fluids, after toileting, after storing delivered foods and supplies, and after taking out the trash. Employers shall provide alcohol-based hand sanitizer containing at least 60% alcohol at key points, including building and kitchen entrances and exits, check-in, participation rosters, stations, serving areas, and in transportation vehicles. Employees should use alcohol-based hand sanitizer containing at least 60% alcohol only if soap and water are not available. Employees shall avoid touching their eyes, nose, or mouth at all times. Employees shall cover coughs and sneezes with a tissue or cough and sneeze into their elbow. Throw used tissues into a lined trash can and immediately wash hands with soap and water as described above. Employees are encouraged to keep multiple clean uniforms at work to change into as needed. Employees should consider bringing an additional change of clothes to wear home and should wash hands thoroughly before returning home. Consistent with school nutrition HACCP procedures, employers should remind employees about procedures for proper glove use. Hands must be properly washed before putting on latex single-use gloves. Always change gloves when they tear before beginning a new task, every 4 hours when doing the same task, after handling raw meat, fish, or poultry. Employees must also wear gloves, use utensils, or other methods to avoid bare hand contact for all ready-to-eat foods. If the employee has a wound on hand, fingers, or arms, a single-use glove must be worn over an impermeable covering. When working with food and using hand antiseptics, use one that is generally recognized as safe or use in contact with food. Guidance for all SN staff and other PCS staff assisting with food prep, packing, and distribution of meals. Follow these 5 steps every time staff washes their hands. 1. Wet your hands with clean running water, warm or cold. Turn off the tap and apply soap. 2. Lather your hands by rubbing them together with the soap. Lather the back of your hands between your fingers and under your nails. 3. Scrub your hands for at least 20 seconds. Need a timer? Hum the happy birthday song from beginning to end twice. 4. Rinse your hands well under clean running water. 5. Dry your hands using a clean towel or air dry them. How to use hand sanitizer. 1. Apply the gel product to the palm of one hand, reading the label to learn the correct amount. Rub your hands together. Rub the gel over all areas of your hands and fingers until your hands are dry. This should take generally around 20 seconds. Hand washing reminders. Make sure to wash hands often and whenever the following occur: before and after preparing or eating meals and snacks, after blowing noses, coughing, or sneezing, or when in contact with body fluids, after using the restroom. Avoid touching eyes, nose, and mouth. Cover coughs and sneezes with a tissue. Discard tissue in a lined trash can and wash hands immediately after cough or sneeze. Social distancing is key during prep, packing, and distribution, and cleanup for all SN staff and any other PCS staff during food service operation. All SN staff and other PCS staff involved in meal prep, packing, and distribution of meals must practice social distancing. Stay 6 feet apart and limit the number of people in one work area to 10 or less, spreading out in the kitchen, dining room, or serving line areas. Dining room tables and chairs used for prep and bagging of meals must be cleaned and sanitized before and after use. Clean and disinfect frequently touched surfaces throughout the day. Follow regular cleaning protocols and use EPA-registered disinfectant that is active against coronavirus. This includes tables, doorknobs, light switches, countertops, handles, desks, phones, keyboards, toilets, faucets, and sinks. If surfaces are dirty, clean them first with soap and water and then sanitize. Employers shall establish work areas that promote proper social distancing. Designate individual workstations at least 6 feet apart. When possible, use separate areas including the kitchen, dining room, hallway, or multi-purpose rooms to minimize staff interaction. Limit movement of staff from one work area to another. Consider defining entry and exit points and marking routes that allow at least 6 feet of spacing in high-traffic work areas. Create a separation of duties and restrict individuals not involved in meal preparation from preparation areas. This includes staff and other distributing or delivering meals, volunteers or other school personnel not involved in meal prep, and children and family receiving meals. Require vendors to leave all deliveries in designated area away from food prep and other SN staff. Do not allow visitors to enter unless it is a specifically designated area. Retrieve deliveries immediately and store properly. Wash and dry hands as described above and before storing delivery items. Employers shall expand routine cleaning, sanitizing, and disinfecting procedures. Ensure an adequate supply of cleaning, sanitizing, and disinfecting supplies are maintained. Utilize disinfectants approved by the Environmental Protective Agency, EPA, for SARS-CoV-2, which is the virus that causes COVID-19. Frequently clean and sanitize food contact surfaces and clean and disinfect other high-touch surfaces, such as preparation tables, utensils, serving areas, tables, transport vehicles, cold and hot holding equipment used for transporting food, doorknobs, oven, refrigeration, freezer, hot holding cabinets, and light switches. Follow regular cleaning protocols that use EPA-registered disinfectant that is active against coronavirus according to the directions on the label. Food contact surfaces must be sanitized with product labeled as safe for use on food contact surfaces. Distribution areas shall be set up so that employees, children, and families are able to limit contact while meals are being distributed. Some strategies for limiting contact include: avoid physical contact with children, families, and other staff. Provide meals for multiple days when possible. We will be offering multiple meals to take home on Wednesday and Friday each week. Properly label meals with storage and reheating instructions as well as discard date. Use carts and/or tables as a barrier between the server and customer. Children should not be able to surround staff distributing meals. Avoid contact with anyone picking up meals. Social distancing. 6 feet should be practiced at all times. Nicely tell them to back away from you. Be sure to post appropriate signage for how to pick up the meal. Use additional measures to block the spread of respiratory droplets that may contain the virus, such as clear physical barriers such as acrylic or plastic may be put up to separate school nutrition employees and children and families receiving meals. Utilize school resource officers or law enforcement for crowd control and to ensure social distancing during meal distribution. Do not allow hugs, handshakes, high fives, fist bumps, elbow bumps, or other methods of physical contact that would increase risk of infection. As meals are transported to meal distribution areas or vehicles for transport, avoid cross-contamination from touching door handles and other frequent contact surfaces and when touching food or food packaging. Distribution areas shall be equipped with cleaning and sanitation supplies, hand sanitizer, and cleaning products for cleaning surfaces. Employees shall use hand sanitizer as necessary during meal distribution. Prior to and following meal distribution, all surfaces, tables, carts, equipment, coolers, transport bags, and vehicles must be properly cleaned and disinfected. Curbside and other pickup locations. Provide instructions to families on protocol for meal pickup to maintain social distancing and safety. Post signage with instructions at curbside or other pickup locations. Mark locations for people waiting for meals to stand at least 6 feet apart or more by using tape, chalk, temporarily spray paint, rope, or cones. Place meals on table or cart to promote no contact pickup. Only the food intended for one family should be placed on the table or cart at a time. Ensure families only touch meals intended for them. Ways that staff can use to transfer meals to the customer in a safe manner. 1. Use carts and/or tables as a physical barrier between the server and customer. The meals can be placed on a cart or table and the customer can get it from the cart. They may have to step out of a car to get the meals, but it will keep our staff from direct contact. Another way is for the customer to pop their trunk from inside their car and our staff put the meals in the trunk with gloved hands. That helps to minimize exposure. Grab-and-go only sites. School reopening meal service style for Plan B. Meal service plan for students on campus will either be meal service from serving lines, using social distancing protocols, classroom delivery, or kiosk in the hallway. Each school has their own unique meal service plan specific to their school. Meal service plan for meals for home consumption include meals passed out at end of the day from school exits or car pickup. Curbside will be offered to students at home after lunch, but before the end of the day, meal distribution to car and bus drivers. The first style is the kiosk meal service. This is available for grades 2 to 12. Equipment that may be used to create a kiosk meal service could either be a rolling sheet pan rack, utility cart, or breakfast kiosk to pass out meals. Coolers, CamGo, boxes, or milk merchandisers may be used for milk distribution. Staff is to wear a mask and gloves and must have all items prepackaged. Students will give their name or number to the cashier. A la carte behind the line and passed out by the server will not start at the beginning of the year. The earliest it would start would be August 31st, which is 3 weeks into the school year. Students will get hand sanitizer from dispenser near the line before their turn getting their meal. 6-foot floor identifiers are needed for students standing in line at the kiosk locations. SN servers must hand students all items from the kiosk during meal service. Students cannot touch items on the kiosk cart. Water must be available at all kiosks during lunch service. Tea-urns for water distribution can go on serving area or another table or cart in the hallway. This must be dispersed by an assigned adult with a mask and gloves. SN staff must change out their gloves after every class that comes through the kiosk, when restocking food items, and when completing the POS or roster. One of the first kiosk options, as mentioned, is using a sheet pan rack. Using a sheet pan rack, pans would be placed every other row or every 3 to 4 rows, allowing for space to place packed meals. You would also need a separate utility cart to hold water disbursement, coolers for milk, and a la carte items. Utility carts can be used for meal delivery to the classrooms, meal kiosks, and when passing out meals at the end of the day to take home. One cart can hold bagged or boxed meals for a full class and can be dropped off outside the door for contactless delivery. Can use utility carts for stacking plastic containers to deliver meals to classrooms, for water urns, a la carte sale items, CamGo box storage, etc. Flex stations. 10 flex stations were ordered over the summer and will be distributed throughout the schools. Each flex station has 3 tiers of 3 food pans for a total of 9 food pans with 1 solid bottom shelf. Bottom shelves can be swapped out to hold food pans if needed. Each weight shelf capacity is 800 pounds per shelf. Using the bottom solid shelf to store CamGo boxes for efficient delivery of milk, the bottom solid shelf can hold 2 CamGo boxes. Shelf plates wipe clean or fit through a commercial dishwasher. 4 locking swivel casters for smooth transport. Includes 12 ID tags for routing and identification. And the flex stations can withstand negative 36 degrees to 190 degrees Fahrenheit. Each flex station will come with 3 cam chillers, freeze compact chillers overnight, placed inside of a full-size food pan or box to keep food and beverages cold. Breakfast carts. Schools that currently have breakfast carts can use these to create breakfast and lunch kiosk stations at their schools. School nutrition staff must hand students milk and meals. Students cannot grab items off of the cart. SN staff must change their gloves after every class or if going between serving students and stocking the cart. 2 staff are needed at breakfast cart kiosks, 1 to hand students the meal and another to account for meals at POS. We have multiple options for milk storage for delivery and kiosk locations. Cam Go boxes, which were purchased over the summer and most of you are probably familiar with, are insulated food carriers. Cam Go boxes will ensure that food stays at temperatures below 39.2 during holding and transport for up to 4+ hours for safe cold food holding. Cam Go boxes can be stored on dollies up to 2 high and used to transport to and from meal classroom delivery or at kiosks. Each Cam Go box comes with 1 Cam Chiller ice pack. These ice packs need to be stored in the freezer overnight to ensure adequate cold storage of milk for next day meal service. Each Cam Go box can roughly hold about 1 crate of 50 milks. Cam Go boxes are dishwashers. Milk merchandising coolers. Some schools already have them, such as CMEPS and Welcome. We ordered an additional 10 of these merchandisers for certain schools at meal service styles. These can hold up to 4 crates of milk, which is 200 milks. These cold cell systems are non-electric insulated coolers that are designed to keep milk, juice, or any other refrigerated products very cold at any school food service location. All pre-chilled products are surrounded by cold cell panels that an insulated enclosure that maintains the temperature in the low 30s for 24 hours before the cold cell panels need to be changed out. These panels are similar to the Cam Chillers in that they need to be stored in the freezer the night before. They do pop into the sides and pop out quite easily. Delivery meal service style. Meals will be delivered to some EC, pre-K, and first grade classes. Meals being delivered to classrooms may be delivered either by a school nutrition staff member or a TA who has volunteered to help. If a school nutrition staff is delivering meals, utility carts needed to hold meals, Cam Go cooler needed for milk distribution, water urn or pitcher with 5.5 ounce cups are also needed. If a TA is delivering or picking up meals from the classroom, plastic containers can be used to pack each class's meal. Cam Go boxes or coolers are needed for meal distribution for classes. All TAs will need to be trained that is assigned with meal service. TAs and school nutrition staff must wear masks and gloves when dispersing meal items. Handheld plastic containers were purchased as part of our meal delivery to the classrooms, especially if a TA is picking up the meals. These containers fold easily, they collapse quickly, saving space. They're great for distribution in meals in the classroom. They are stackable. They support normal and cross stacking for optimal storage. They're easy to clean. The plastic is resistant to moisture, insect, mold, and fungi, which means meals can be packed in the bins and stored safely in the cooler and freezer if needed. The sidewalls do lock, which provide additional support and security. Vented, handheld, collapsible agricultural containers are ideal for harvesting, transporting, and distributing produce. RPC bins promote maximum airflow, keeping perishable items cool and safely secured while remaining lightweight and easy to handle. And these are 24 by 16 by 10 plastic collapsible containers. And each school will be getting some of these. The exact count is not set right now, but expect to have some of these. We did purchase dollies specific for these handheld plastic containers. They can be stacked 8 high on a dolly and are ideal for when distributing multiple meals to classrooms. Serving line meal service. All food items must be handed to students. Students not grab items off of the line, including the milk. Milk must be handed to each student if they choose to get a milk with the meal. Serving lines must be cleaned and disinfected between classes and meal service times. School nutrition workers must change out gloves when preparing food items, when restocking the serving line, when serving food items to students, and when cleaning and disinfecting the serving line. Water availability. Water must be available to students at lunch no matter if meals are delivered, picked up at kiosk, or received through the serving line. Water in tea urns and pitchers with lids should be used to create areas for students to get water during lunch service. Tierns for dispersing water can go on serving areas or another table or cart in the hallway. And again, this water must be dispersed by an assigned adult with a mask and gloves. 5.5 ounce cups should be available at all lunch meal service locations for students to be able to disperse water into.